We love living local. We are Scott and Kelly Greats, third generation Central New Yorkers who live, work, and play right here in the heart of New York.
The mission of this podcast is to shine a spotlight on the people, places, and events that make our community an amazing place to live.
We don't run ads. We don't talk politics. Our only ask is that you help us spread the love that we have for this community by sharing these episodes with your neighbors.
Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Hey Neighbor, where we bring you a local person doing awesome things. Today, we have Mr. Nick Fumarola from Meats on Main in Frankfort. Welcome to the show, Nick.
Thank you, guys. How you doing today?
We're good.
Yeah, a little cold. We finally, we've been lucky. It's right in the, what are we, almost December. And
winter is here. Yeah.
Absolutely. I had I was working down at the stop a little while ago. I had about an inch of snow on my truck. It melted very quickly, but it was there.
Yeah, nothing like they're getting up in Old Forge and Tug Hill. So I guess, I don't know, some people love it. So I shouldn't knock snow.
Yeah, our boys are excited. They're skiers. They're excited to see the white stuff. So,
Yeah, no.
Well, enough about that. We got 6
right.
months of that. Let's talk about you, my man. So you've got an interesting backstory. Obviously, just open up the shop. We'll dive deep into that. But tell us a little bit about your career and what led you up to this point.
Sure. Yeah. So thank you again. So really, I've spent the last 10 years or so working for a very large national industrial distributor. Worked my way up from customer service to director level. For the last 5 years, I was a director, kind of managing 25 to 30 different employees, from everything from marketing to new product and research and development to kind of some customer service and a little bit of procurement as well. So love the job, love the people, love the company. At the end of the day, kind of just it got the best of me, I would say, over the course of the last few years, and was really just trying to get out and do something different. So I really plan on kind of continuing my career there, end up retiring that company down the road, maybe 40, 50 years, who knows. But Easter Sunday, I was having dinner with my family and was talking to my dad and my parents who were set to retire, and really starting to hear the rumblings of local businesses that were set to close just due to owners that are looking to retire. With Melrose, and I know a friendly bake shop who they've since reopened, which is fantastic news. And then most recently, the Mohawk Market in Mohawk. So with the kind of the closures between those places, kind of a light bulb went off and said, you know what? I don't think there's a meat market between Little Falls and East Utica. So kind of just throwing up some Google Maps and stuff. I said, wow, there's a 24-mile span there with nowhere for people to shop. So when my father set to retire and stuff, and I said, Dad, wild idea. I said, if I open up a meat market, he said, you want to work there? You want to bake bread? We'll do sandwiches and stuff eventually. And he said, wow. I said, that's actually a great idea. He's like, I think it really works. So about a week or two later, I approached the people at Melrose, the owners, Joe and Linda there. They thought I was crazy. But I said, hey, I know I worked here several years ago when I was in college, but can you refine my skills a little bit? Try to teach me how to cut meat again. And they were super happy about it. So as that thing progressed a little bit, and Stuart ended up buying the building and tearing it down, and they kind of got the ball rolling. So shortly thereafter, I called my boss and said, hey, this is it. I'll give you guys a couple more months, but I'm going off and doing my own thing. So it's all been fantastic since. I got the property I wanted to. It's on a lease, and we renovated the heck out of it, and just opened our doors about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, awesome story. It almost reminds me of, we talk about firefighters. When everyone's running out of a building, they're running in, and obviously they're very heroic. But we look at them, we're like, wow, they're crazy. They're running into a burning building. You left a very well-established corporate career and went into small business ownership in Frankfort, New York. And so I don't know if you're crazier than a firefighter, but I certainly salute you as a fellow entrepreneur.
Yeah, definitely pretty close to the firefighter. I don't know. I mean, it's been a few months, but I couldn't be any happier.
Awesome.
That's awesome. So you touched a little bit on that. You worked at Melrose when you were in high school, correct?
I did just after high school and out of college as well. Yeah. So
was that the only experience you had? Like, you're officially a butcher now. Like, that's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, so I've definitely so I did learn to cut meat there originally. And then the last two to 3 months that Melrose was open, I was kind of sneaking down there as much as I could on my lunch breaks, trying to get as much knowledge as I possibly could. I wouldn't classify myself as a butcher quite yet, but I'm certainly adding good people around me that can kind of take the reins and let me be the face of the business while I build up my skills to be that bloody butcher, I guess.
Well, that's awesome. Talk a little bit about the research you did before you opened up.
Sure. So research was my background. My wife and I did a whole bunch of research for as far as meeting with the business, or I'm sorry, the banks for our business loans and such. So we did all sorts of price studies between visiting several different local establishments, anywhere from Albany to Syracuse, really trying to identify what our product offering was going to be, what kind of fit the niche of really the Italian community within Frankfort. And then as we were expanding in more and more, and we were ripping down walls, we kind of needed a break to escape the building for a couple of days. So we took a trip down to New York City, and we visited, I think, 12 different butchers between Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, and Queens. And you got all sorts of different ideas. Met a bunch of different new suppliers, saw new products that were on the shelves, really trying to get our own feel of things. So said, okay, we took a little bit from each and every store and said, this is what we want to do eventually. And we knew we couldn't do it day one, but it's definitely part of the 6 and 12-month program for sure.
That's awesome. Like, I know for Scott and I, like, when you're in a small town and you see like the same stores, we traveled overseas and we went into, don't you remember that place that we went into, and they had all the meats and they had wine that you could pour like right out of like the carafe. And it was super, super cool to see all of it, like so different. So I'm sure that was really cool. And if you'd share some pictures with us, I remember seeing those pictures on the Meats on Main Facebook page that you had of all the cool places you visited in New York City. So that's pretty awesome.
Well, I don't know if we'll be able to add the wine in, but catch a little buzz while you're doing the show.
Yeah.
That could be fun.
I wouldn't rule it out, Nick.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm more of a ask for forgiveness and permission kind of guy, especially when it comes to wine.
Well, I think there's no drinking age though in Spain.
We were in Spain.
Yeah, definitely in Spain when we saw that.
Yeah, there's a few loose rules. There might have been some chickens in there too. I don't know if that was like future offerings.
Yeah.
But, so let's talk about products that you offer. Obviously you talk about doing a lot of market research. When I think delis and just butchers and meats in New York City, it all makes sense, right? So what did you bring back? What different products do you offer? Anything unique at this moment that can be found at your place?
Sure. So just from like a basic standpoint, I mean, we're talking deli cold cuts and things that made any sort of high-end butcher shop or meat market that we went to, there was one constant thing. They carried Boar's Head branded cold cuts.
Yeah.
And that was honestly, I think, the first supplier I made a phone call to. And I said, what do I have to do to get signed up? I said, what are my order minimums? Let's create this business relationship, because also I don't want to open the doors if I don't have your product. And people know what to expect when they see that brand. And that's something I'm very proud to offer in the store. Aside from different kind of unique things, we definitely saw on the New York City trip, as well as a recent vacation to Montana that we had over the summer, was elk and bison and wagyu and all sorts of different venison and stuff like that too. So that's not something that people can get on a regular basis. And while don't really have the type of facility where I can keep it fresh and offer venison steaks, but offering a frozen option to people, that's been one of the most successful products that we've had in the freezer, honestly, is that people are coming in and get elk stew and venison stew and stuff like that too. So people are love to see that. And it's not going to make me rich, but you know what? It's something unique to offer to the customers where they can come in and get a more personal experience for sure.
Yeah. So a couple of follow-ups to that. You talk about the Boar's Head. Do you guys do subs there?
We don't right now.
Okay.
I bought the equipment to do one of the sandwich prep stations and stuff like that. Us opening 2 weeks prior to Thanksgiving and kind of establishing the staff and getting through the first week, I wouldn't call it a nightmare because the business was very successful, but it was chaos for sure. So trying to get our efficiencies down and stuff like that. So I would say probably within the next 3 weeks, we'll be offering subs on a regular basis.
Awesome.
And just really the simple fact of being able to bake bread in house every day and have the sub rolls that fresh is kind of a differentiator for sure.
So awesome. Kelly and I are old. I'm older, but we're old. And we went to college in Rochester back in the 90s. And there was a place called the Park Ave Deli that, and I tell you we're old because this was like 30 years ago, and it's still, we've been chasing these subs for 30 years.
Where they slice the meat right on the slicer, and it's the fresh baked breast.
Made the bread there,
yeah.
they sliced the meat right in front of you. To prove how old I was, I think it was like $3, which was actually a lot of money for us back.
I know it was.
You might be old, yeah. Wow.
Oh, but people in Frankfort are going to be excited about that. Let me tell you that.
What about grass fed? I know is that still like a crave? Is that, like establishing relationships with local farmers? Is that something that is on the radar?
It is for sure. So that's something I'm working on right now. I've had several conversations with local farmers within the Balk Valley, as well as some that are out in Schenectady as well. I would love to carry it. The plan is to carry it. What I'm going to carry versus fresh versus frozen is a fine line, because ultimately when you're talking about grass fed and such, it's going to carry a higher price point. All right.
Right.
So I mean, we need to find out who that niche customer is that wants to come in and be able to buy that on a regular basis. Are they a daily customer, a weekly, or monthly customer? And I think that's probably one of the biggest challenges of creating a new business, is making sure I'm not overbuying and making sure that I'm turning product in a timely manner where nothing's being wasted. So
yeah, it's a big one for you. It's not like you can just store it for 6 months and, I mean, it's got to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about specific, like Scott just asked you about specific products that you offer that people might not know about. But I know a product that, like, my family, we missed it so much not having Melrose, and is the meatloaf mix that you got. And I had this conversation with you when I came in.
Yeah.
In Frankfort, Sundays are for sauce and meatballs, and to get a good meatloaf mix where you can add your own seasoning, but your meatball mix is fantastic too for people that don't want to do that. So would you say that that's a very popular item? Because I know I try to get there early on Sundays before it's gone.
Yeah, absolutely is. So I mean, it was kind of something for everybody, right? So the meatloaf mix is like a 60-40 beef to pork ratio. And what makes it so good and popular is that the meats are actually grinding together. So we're not just grabbing a handful of beef and a handful of pork and throwing in the same package. They're ground together and it's mixed up properly. So just add your eggs, your spices, and you're good to go. One other huge product that's been a fantastic seller is the Mexican hot mix. If you're west of Frankfort in the Utica or Oneida County, people don't tend to know what Mexican hot mix is. It's basically just a spicy beef mix with peppers and onions and some hot sauces and stuff too. So that's something people definitely missed from Melrose and the Village Market and some of the other places that have carried over there.
Yeah, it's a great starter to chili too if you're a little lazy, instead of just adding if you start with your hot Mexican mix, that makes a great chili too with a can of tomatoes. So just so you know.
Absolutely, yeah.
I've done these before too.
Yeah. You guys should do like a cooking show.
Oh my God, I love it. This is right up my alley. I'm so excited about this one.
My wife
can
was
can we drink some wine while we're doing it too?
Yes, definitely.
It's my wife will tell you on Sundays she plays the Frank Sinatra.
I have to.
Pandora station, because everything comes out better with the Italian music playing in the background.
Exactly.
Oh, it's gotta, yeah.
That's a little cooking tip for our audience.
There you go. It always makes it taste better.
All right. So my wife, every once in a while, when we get in a real rut, will send me out to a store. This is always
a bad idea, but sometimes I do
it. And she'll be like, grab, whatever when it comes to meat. And I get there and I just freeze, right? So if I were to come in, and I guess talk to you about different cuts of steak, this always confuses the hell out of me. Like, I guess what's the most popular, what's something that people may not know about that is kind of the go-to?
That's a really good question. I would say probably our most successful product offering so far has been steaks. When we first opened, we launched with a prime grade USDA prime grade ribeye. It's expensive cut of meat, but it is absolutely fantastic. Have been getting nothing but fantastic reviews about that. Doing very well with our New York strips, our standard ribeye cuts, and then our porterhouses. So when people say porterhouse, they don't really necessarily know what it means. Basically, it's a T-bone steak that is part New York strip, and then on the other side of the bone is a tenderloin, which, and if you don't know what tenderloins are for the general public, is basically your filet mignon. So for a more economical price point, you kind of get two really popular choices within one cut. That's something that we're trying to carry through winter. understanding within living in Central New York, kind of grilling season dies off. So that's something we gotta be able to be mindful of before we cut each individual piece and each day of the week and such like that.
And one thing I was excited about, like my kids, they enjoy the tenderloin steak. That is their cut. So I was super excited when I came in to see that you have a tenderloin there and you cut it to thickness. Like you'll cut it to the thickness that people want, right?
Yeah, that's kind of giving the individual customer really their own experience in the butcher shop,
Yeah.
allowing them to choose a thickness. Also, it's a smart business move too. At the same point, because tenderloin, unlike a lot of other steaks, once they're exposed to the air, they brown very quickly.
Exactly.
And not that when beef is slightly browned, it's bad, but it gives a negative perception that it's not as fresh. So we've been very mindful of that to make sure that somebody says, okay, I want a tenderloin 1.5 to 2 inches thick. We cut to order, takes a couple extra minutes, but really gives them that custom experience,
awesome.
which they like.
Yep.
You started this by saying, kind of chuckling that you're not really a butcher, but man, you sound not like a butcher.
Yeah, I'm getting there each day. I'm getting better.
Okay, so how do you see things evolving? Like, what's your vision for the market? Like you had mentioned, like a 6-month, 12-month plan. Like, what are some new things you think you'll be offering or doing in the up and coming months?
Sure. So I think the first thing is what you mentioned in the call is sandwiches. Sandwiches is definitely something we want to be known for. I don't want to be known or try to compete with the pizzerias of the world of being open till 7, 8 o'clock at night, slinging subs. It'll be something we offer on a lunch basis only with some hot soups ready to go where people can stop in and go. Kind of with the involvement of the village of Frankfort with Stewart's building their castle across the street from me. I think we're gonna start seeing a little bit more traffic come down Main Street each day, which would be great. And getting more people in the door between that 11 and 1 hours will definitely be critical to the success. Other expansions I'll be looking to get involved would be if this business continues the way it has been over the course of the last few weeks. I know it's early on, but if we continue to grow, we'll definitely be making some expansions to the facility of adding in another walk-in freezer, potentially a larger walk-in cooler. That way I can handle some wholesale business of what Melrose and people have like that done in the past as well. So it'll be a lower margins, but ultimately more revenue and more product moving through the doors.
Little inside information here, but I guess we're blasting it out to the public so everyone's gonna know. But with this cold weather, Stewart's is actually putting off the installation of the moat around their castle until potentially spring now.
Oh, shut up.
Really?
Yeah, so that's been pushed back.
Wow. Yeah, it's
the drawbridge will still be there, but
yeah, it's
Benny Lettieri will still be there. I mean, we can't. He's not
I've
listening.
only been in like once though, so I feel almost offended by it. So I'm not
Oh,
sure what
dang.
yeah,
it'll happen.
It's cold out.
I get Joey every day though.
Well, we're getting there. We're getting there. Hang on, hold that thought. So let's talk from just straight business standpoint. Forget about the meat stuff. All kidding aside, very courageous. It's not for everyone. Everyone thinks it's easy. Everyone thinks it's
glamorous.
Yeah, everyone. It's you're just like Scrooge McDuck. As soon as you open, just swim in gold bullions or whatever. But what advice would you give somebody who's thinking about leaving their career or job and potentially opening their own place?
Know what you get yourself into, that's for sure. And you cannot be afraid to put in the extra hours yourself to do it. I would say since I made the decision to leave my previous employer, that was September 1st, I've probably been working on average of 75 to 80 hours a week. So the commitment absolutely needs to be there. Either you're all in or you're all out at this point. So one thing that I'm trying to improve myself is certainly my time management skills and being able to be a bit more organized. I think that's where I'll find more sleep, first of all, and second of all, more efficiencies and greater profitability.
Yeah, great advice. And what I would share as soon as it becomes affordable, right, is to delegate anything that either you don't want to do or you're just not good at. Delegation is key when it comes to time management. My wife and team will tell you that I delegate like everything in my life.
You're only one man. You can't do everything.
You talked about
I hear you.
You said you surround yourself with good people, which is really 90% of the battle. Everything else, once you have a good team, you can figure it out.
And so that's the other thing I wanted to touch on. It was really nice, like when I came in, when you guys opened that first week there, to see so many familiar faces. You took on quite a few employees from Melrose, right?
I did, yeah. So people that I knew personally that came over and really just they're looking for an opportunity kind of within the same career, and some new faces as well too. So I mean, when we first got into this, I said, I said to keep this business successful and try to keep the personalities out of it, it's gonna be no friends or family. And then I look back there and it's almost all friends and family.
Yeah.
And surrounding yourself with people that you can trust, that are gonna do what's in the best interest of the business and me and my reputation is something that was definitely needed for sure. Because as much as I wanted to expand on and keep the relationships to a minimum, I think was paramount in the success of the business.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, Nick, we're already at 20 minutes. We always wrap these up with our rapid fire questions. We try to keep these a little looser, a little more fun. There's just a handful of them, so let's go. We'll let Kelly start.
All right, I'll start. If you could eat only one type of meat for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Strip steaks.
What is actually in sausage?
Oh, mystery question. Spices and pork product.
Yep.
And
do you want to know the spices or no?
No, we're not going to give away the recipe.
I almost asked hot dogs, but I don't want to not eat a hot dog ever again.
I don't think God knows the answer to that question. So,
what is the best piece of advice you received from Joey Lavella?
Oh God!
I know you've probably gotten a lot.
This could also be the worst. Could be the best and worst. Could be the same.
The best and worst. When I told him I wanted to do this, he said, "Did you run this by your wife?" And that was probably the most eye-opening thing. And of course, I did later that day. But
yeah,
yeah, run everything by your wife. That's actually really good advice.
Yeah, super advice.
20 plus years here.
Yep.
Just do what you're told. All right, last one. What you could go anywhere, really. I mean, you don't have kids. Obviously, your family's here. You chose to open a business here in Central New York, specifically in your hometown. Why?
That's a great question. So my past life, my past career, I know it's gonna be a little bit longer answer, but I traveled the country, 25, 30 business trips a year over the course of the last several years. So I've seen all parts of the country. And one thing that I've always told anybody that I've been on the road, the fall months of Frankfort and Central New York, there's no other place I'd rather be in the entire country than Frankfort. And growing up here, being part of the community and making this decision, being able to help people out, see my friends and family come through the door every day, I'm actually absolutely loving it. So with Frankfort, what I believe is on the up and up, I'd love to be a part of that growth and see this thing through for the next couple of decades.
Awesome.
Well, I got to say, my family loves it because they got their meatballs that they love back on Sundays. And we are a huge fan of the Boar's Head sliced meat. Jenna loves a ham sandwich. Scott has his own opinion on ham, but we're not going to go there right now.
Are you more of an olive loaf kind of guy, Scott, or no?
No, I'm actually not. You would think I would be, but I don't like olives. It's a whole nother thing. I'm not anti-ham.
He just thinks it's meh. But I love myself a good ham sandwich. So
it's not great. It's not terrible. It just is. It's just there. Like, it'll fill you. Anyway, how do we connect with you? How does our audience connect with you, your business, social?
First hours of operation. Go ahead.
Give us all the details, the nitty gritty.
Cool. So I've been pretty active on social media, on Facebook. It's about the only social media that I use. My wife does the whole Instagram thing, but I don't really use that. So Facebook, both messenger, contact information there. Hours are listed. Right now, we're open Wednesday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday, 8 to 4, Sunday, 8 to 1. We are quickly going to be expanding those hours coming this week. We're going to stay open a little bit later on Sundays, and I think we're going to start open up on Tuesdays as well. So really been getting a lot of demand out of the people in the community and really trying to maintain as much efficiency as possible while reducing waste. So also we have meatsonmain.com for more information that will be coming soon, including hours, not really prices too much yet, but just because that's a variable that changes every day.
Yeah.
So, but Contact information is all over social media. Please give me a call, shoot me a message. Happy to help anybody out I can.
Awesome. And we'll make sure that Jay links all this in the show notes and gets it blasted on our social as well. You're doing awesome work and your story is fantastic. This has been a really enjoyable, quick 25 minutes or so.
I could talk food all day long.
I can eat
All
food.
day.
So Nick Fumarola, Meats on Main, 201 East Main Street in Frankfort. Best of luck to you, my friend.
Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you soon, all right?
Thanks,
All right.
Nick.
Take care.
Thank you for tuning in to another Love Living Local episode. Before you head out to support all things Central New York, we just have one ask of you. Please help us share the love we have for our community by sharing this podcast with a neighbor of yours. We truly appreciate you. In fact, you are one of the many reasons we love living local.